equal sign. It is used for assigning values to variables. Let's make a working copy of working.cpp from the Chapter 6 folder, and we'll paste that into the working project and double-click to open it. So the assignment operator basically works like this. If we have a couple of variables, we'll just create some integers called I and j. I can assign a value to one of them, and then when I look at it, I can say, and compile this and run it, and we have assigned a value to I. It says value is 5. We have this little warning here because we're not using j. Unused variable j. We'll use it in a minute. So the assignment operator is the equal sign, and what it does is it copies a value. What it's doing in this case is it's taking the literal value 5, which we just typed in with the number 5, and it's making a copy of that value and putting it in the variable I. So in this context, it's operating in its copy mode. The assignment operator actually has two modes. We're going to talk about the copy mode first, and we'll talk about the initialization mode in a little bit here. So another use for it is we can assign I to j. So this copies from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. In this case, it's taking the value that is in I, and it's making a copy of that and putting it in j. So let's change this to say I is that, and we'll make another one that says j is that. Now when we save that and run it, we see that they're both the same value. You can also use the assignment operator to chain assignments. So if we make a third one called k, I can say k equals j equals I, and I can even take out this assignment of I, and then they will all have that same value. So I can compile that and run it. And this works because the assignment operation actually returns the value of the assignment. So this makes it possible to chain these operations. Some of these distinctions that we're making right now may seem very technical and very pedantic. The reason we're making these distinctions is that they're actually going to become important when we start overloading operators in a later chapter. So just for now, understand that the reason we can chain these assignments is because the assignment operation actually returns a value, and that'll become important later. So the assignment operator actually works with structures as well. So if we create a little structure here, and we can create it out here and say struct s, and maybe it's just got a couple of ints in it, int I, int j, int k. And then down here, we can create a variable with that structure. And so we've created a variable s1 that's of type struct s, and it has the three values in it, 1, 2, and 3, and those are assigned respectively to the structure members I, j, and k. And so if we do a little printf here, and then we can look at those structure members. And I'm a big fan of copy and paste for stuff like this. And we'll put in a new line at the end of our printf format and a semicolon at the end. Probably be a good idea. So now when I save this and run it, we have the I, j, and k values. So this is actually the other usage of the assignment operator. In this case, it's actually being used for initialization. So that equal sign is really the initialization operator in this case, as opposed to the assignment operator. We're going to go ahead and do some assignment with this as well, because we can declare a couple of other structs of this same type, s2 and s3, and we can actually assign s3 equals s2 equals s1. And again, the assignment operator will copy the entire contents of S1 into S2 and then return that structure so that it can copy the entire structure of S2 into S3. And so I can make a couple more copies of this, and I can say S2 and S3, and come over here and say S2, and I'm just going to copy and paste, and S3, and copy and paste. And you'll see that they all have exactly the same values. Save that and run it. And that's because that assignment operator here is actually making copies, and it's operating in its same chained mode again. So this distinction between initialization and assignment, this usage here in line 12 is initialization. And it's taking those values and it's initializing S1 with those values. And the usage on line 14 here is assignment, where it's actually making a copy of the entire structure S1 and putting it in S2, and then making a copy of the entire structure of S2 and putting it in S3. So those distinctions become more important later, but for right now, for the purposes of C especially, you can simply think of it as assigning a value from the right-hand side of the equal sign to the left-hand side of this equal sign, even in the case of initialization. So semantically, an assignment operator simply copies an object from right to left. It may be used for initialization or for copying values. This distinction becomes more important when using classes with overloaded operators. Operator overloading is covered later in this course. So let's delete our working file here.